and welcome to the program where we make fun of sales, training, and promotional videos of the past. My name is Jason Reid. I'm here with my co-host, Chris Mei. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks. Really great to be back for this specific episode. I love tech, and this one is a really great example of a technological advancement that took what we know in television and put it well into the future. You're really going to like this one.
It's well into the future, but then it's amazing, if you know technology, how quickly it becomes obsolete. We're talking about the Sony Betamax console here. And the thing I love about it, more than just the technology, is the sheer cheesy 70s-ness of it all. You're going to see mustaches. You're going to see ferns. You're going to see mustard-colored suits. You're going to see flared legs on the dress pants. This has got to be seen to be believed.
Yeah, this one does not disappoint. Can't wait to riff on this and then talk about it afterwards.
That's right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to riff the film, and then we're going to come back and share our thoughts.
Now that you have an overview of the total Betamax training program, let's take a closer look at demonstrating the Betamax.
Oh my goodness!
Some
this
of the
is
features of the
station
Betamax are
wagon
new
of
to the average consumer, such as the
That's
video
not just any
cassette player
station
recorder.
wagon. That
dual
is the
tuners,
Griswold
and the
station
automatic
wagon
timer.
from Family Vacation. That thing is
But even
wood
more
paneled
important,
and
the
huge.
benefits which the consumer can enjoy as a result of those features
And that
may
mossy
not be
rug
obvious to the
looks
average
like
retail
it's
buyer.
growing in its own natural
Such as
habitat.
using the dual tuners
Looks like
to
fungus
record
growing
one
from the
program
side
while
of a
watching another,
tree.
and using the auto timer
It doesn't
to
look
record
healthy
a
is what I'm
program
saying.
without even being there. Now, in addition to explaining the benefits of the Betamax, you'll also have to demonstrate how easy the Betamax is to operate.
You're going to have to
To
demonstrate
help you do that,
how to get it to your
Sony
house
has developed a
because it's
demonstration
massive,
checklist.
and then where you're going to
By
put
following the
it,
sequence
because
in
quite
your
frankly,
demo
it's bigger than
checklist,
all the other
you'll be
furniture
able to
in your
demonstrate
house
the
at the time.
features and benefits
It
of the
is.
Betamax
And he's just
with
put
the
himself
least
on
number of
pause.
operator actions and in the shortest
The machine
possible
was
time.
so far ahead of its time. I'm sure
By
we're going to find
role-playing
out
with
more.
one of your co-salesmen and following the sequence in the demo checklist, you can work out your own
they're gonna
presentations until you're
role-play.
comfortable with them. In fact, that's exactly what these two salesmen are doing.
Really easy to operate, hmm?
Child's play. Mere child's play.
Oh, somebody's
It is
full of
incredible.
himself.
Incredible.
I've never seen it before, but I know
Why don't you,
everything.
go
I
ahead.
gotta touch
Oh,
the
me?
console to make sure it's
Well, all
quality.
right. You want me to be an easy
That was
close or a hard
a little much right there.
Actually, I want you to be a salesman.
Mr.
Oh.
Creepy.
You want me to be the, well, you play the... All right, it's just that I had the impression you were going to demo
Ooh,
the...
that look was
first.
No,
that was
no, I didn't
freaky.
have
That was
impression
like
at all.
right out of a
Okay.
Stephen King
Be
movie.
right with you, Mr. Davis.
Yikes! Little too heavy on the role playing.
I think so. A
What
little too
role are we
competitive.
playing?
To begin with, make sure the Betamax is set up for demonstration.
Look up, check with the audience.
Just follow your
Yes.
demonstration checklist.
Sony training videos are filmed in front of a live studio
Now,
audience.
that's just... I mean, that is...
What's it?
Oh, what is that?
Finish a sentence.
Is the Sony Betamax.
Can either of these guys finish
Console
a sentence?
TV, right?
No,
Apparently
not quite.
not.
Betamax is a totally new
The most
concept in
color
television
in
entertainment.
this entire
To
ad
gain
is
your
the
customer's
Sony logo in the top
attention,
right-hand
establish a
corner.
need. Play the consumer program.
What was
Rather than telling
that?
you about the Betamax, I've got a short
We're
program
gonna have to
here
look at that
will
link
Why did he
later.
do
exactly
that?
what the Betamax concept
Why did
is
he
all
do
about.
that?
70s creepy. And now there's a clown music.
When the consumer program
But
is
just
complete,
for a second,
remove the
it was
cassette.
like a twisted
Then, using a
merry-go-round.
blank tape, explain the features of a Betamax cassette.
What's inside the little box?
Or
Well,
don't,
this is a
because they're not
Betamax
going to be
cassette.
around for much
That's very
longer.
much like an audio cassette, except that with Betamax, you record both picture and sound on the same videotape, which is protected right inside this cassette.
Well, how much can you get on there?
You can record up to 60 minutes on a single Betamax
Ooh, a
cassette.
full
And
hour.
the
Nobody
great
will
beauty
ever
of
want to
videotape
record more
is you
than
can
that on their
use
television.
the same cassette over and
Did
over.
he say you could
re-record.
record 60 minutes, the show, or up
Demonstrate
to
how to
60
load
minutes
a
of tape?
Betamax
You can
cassette.
record 60 minutes.
Emphasize how easy the system is to operate.
In fact, why don't you load this cassette yourself and see how easy it really is?
Well, I don't want to take a chance.
Now,
on
Mr.
this.
Davis,
I don't want to take a
the
chance of
Betamax
blowing up the
is
world
virtually
here.
indestructible with normal use. You don't have anything to worry about.
Whoa. I don't want to
Now
touch something as
demonstrate the
volatile as
TRINITRON
a
TV for your
Betamax
customer.
tape.
That's
I might
just like
become
my
obsolete
set.
just
You
by
ain't taking the
association.
Exactly. You just select the channel you want. And with TRINITRON, you get the best picture
Nothing
possible.
says successful marketing
Explain
like
the features
severed
and
heads.
advantages of the TRINITRON.
It looks like
in
some
terms the
dystopian
consumer can
Angry Birds
understand.
game.
Now,
And nothing says
demonstrate
successful
TV
demo
recording.
like a football fumble.
Again, emphasize how easy it
Well,
is
there's
to
nothing
record
more
with the
Shakespearean
Betamax.
foreshadowing
Well,
than
that's all there is to
a
it.
fumble
And once
in
you've
a
selected the
Betamax
channel that you
pack.
want to record, you just drop in the Betamax cassette, and then you push these two buttons right here, and you're recording the picture and sound for whatever program you want.
Yeah, it's pretty
Then
simple until you have to
play
explain
back
to
the
your
program
parents how to
segment
do
which
that
you've just
step.
recorded.
Believe me, I know.
Emphasize the
More
professional
fumbles.
quality of
They
recording
don't
with the
understand
Betamax
symbolism,
system.
obviously.
I
The
think
next
it was
phase of your
unintentional
demonstration is
symbolism,
one of
but
the
we
most
got it
important.
because we're pros.
Recording one program while watching another.
You see,
My
the
heart just
Betamax has two tuners. Now, there's a main tuner and an auxiliary tuner.
Yeah, there's one where you
Oh,
actually
there
get
is?
channels and one that's really
Right.
fuzzy, so
That
you have
means that
to
you can
dial it in
record one
really
program while you're
carefully.
actually
Call it
watching
UHF,
another one.
VHF.
Right. I mean, really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Let me show you. You mean to tell me?
You mean to tell me we got to watch
Betamax is recording all
Donnie
that
and Marie
while
and
we
didn't
were
miss
watching
a
the other
minute of
channel?
golf?
That's right. See, with Betamax,
That's
there's no such thing as
entertainment.
schedule conflict.
Now, explain timer recording.
Time
for
is the
customer.
indefinite continued
Remember,
progress of
it's just
existence
like
and events
setting
that
an
occur in
alarm
an
clock, as
apparently
simple as that.
irreversible succession.
Let's say that the program
And
you
what
want
you
to
just
record
said
comes
there
on at
was
10 at night, and you're
far
going to be
easier
out.
to explain
You
to
just
the
set
average
the auto
person than
timer for
how to set a timer
10
on a
o'clock,
Betamax.
and the system will automatically activate itself
And
without your
Khrushchev
even
there
being
in the television will
I'll
agree
tell you,
with
there's
me.
one thing that worries me.
Oh,
Look, they
what's
just sort of
that?
blew
Will I
off
really
the
be
fact
able
there
to
was a
work this
Cuban
thing?
Missile Crisis.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever operated a color TV or an audio cassette recorder?
For sure.
Then you're not going to have any problem with the Betamax.
Now that the time is right,
Watch
Notice
go
this.
for a trial close.
Do you
Oh, yeah.
do you
Take
have an
that,
account
Jack.
with us?
Ah,
I can
you're
put this on my
right.
card?
Of course. Well, what do you think? How am I doing?
How's my mustache?
Listen, you're doing fine. Just fine.
Yeah, I suppose you could probably demonstrate the unit without even using the checklist.
Listen, I'll have this down in no time.
Oh,
Well, I'll give you a little
now
time
they're
to get
trash
ready.
talking.
But since you won't need this,
Oh, no, he's
Listen,
taunting
there's,
him.
no harm in making sure.
I feel like cha cha cha. Cha cha cha.
Oh,
Wow.
The freeze frame and the music.
That is so 1977, isn't it?
Come back next week as Peyton Place returns to its original time. Now that was the 70s.
That was wicked cool, that one.
And that was the 1977 Sony Betamax console film.
Oh my. Oh wow.
That
Oh,
that was
wow.
something
Like,
else.
that was tripping my eyes out, man.
Yeah,
It started with the moss growing up from the ground, that fungus that they plunked that, as you called it, the station wagon sized television slash I guess Betamax. I almost said VCR, but there's the irony again.
yes. As we talk about extinct species.
True.
Speaking of species, those actors were like amazing, and I want to get to them and their characters in a moment. But first, I want to talk about the 70s in general and how the perception of the 70s salesperson is still with us to this day. I mean, salespeople still have to basically deal with this concept of that slick, cheesy salesman that we saw so vividly in this film.
I find that is absolutely true. You can't think about going to buy a used car without having an anxiety attack on your way there, because you've got the misconception of used car salesmen, which is a thing of the past. You can't think about buying home insurance or life insurance or auto insurance without having this notion of, the salesman from the 70s. Radio stations and television station salespeople are still plagued by Herb Tarlick of WKRP in Cincinnati, which was a farcical television show. But the 70s are still affecting the 21st century when it comes to salespeople. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, and nothing said cheesy salesperson like when the announcer said, "And now the time to go in for the close," and the guy's like adjusting his jacket, just like Herb Tarlick.
That was the. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
now's,
like that.
now's the time.
Ready to go.
Yeah, and so like those actors were great. Like I don't think those were salespeople, but the actors had both that kind of slick salesman thing down, But the other thing was that kind of whiff of desperation that they had too, as they're doing this demo and everybody's afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah, because they know that, especially back then, it was the commissions. Commissions was everything. You know, a lot of times today, a lot of the bigger companies, they've taken that commission program away and they've replaced it with better salaries so you can get better quality and you don't become quite as predatorial. Because that was the other thing. When you come in for the close, first coming in for the close could have also been Mutual of Omaha talking about a lion closing in on a gazelle.
Exactly. Yeah. So because these guys are so great, I thought we would look at some still frame images and talk about their characters and what happens here. So let me just...
All right, let's do it.
So let's start now.
This guy cracked me up.
Mr. Gray, the creepiest guy
Mr.
ever.
Gray was creepy.
Yeah, and I sometimes wonder, I'm looking at it right now, I don't even know if that's his real hair, but he had this...
Yeah, he did sort of have... He had sort of that Logan's Run mixed with a bit of Star Wars, the first one, and you know, really, or almost mixed in with back in the day, you know, the Clash of the Titans sort of thing, all the you know, the Greek that was out on television at the time. He really had that period down just in his hair.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he reminds me of somebody who I've worked with in television, an actor by the name of Robin Ward, who starred in a series called Star Lost, which was done in the 1970s too. And, you know, part of it is just like the hair, just the volume of it, but also the acting
There's
style.
volume.
Yeah. I mean, the acting style was weird because the actors of that period, it seemed like every time they said a line, they made it kind of morally ambiguous, like there were 2 or 3 meanings, and everything always kind of came across as creepy.
I agree. I thought the exact same thing with both Mr. Gray and Mr. Mustard.
Yeah, and then there's that combination of the makeup they used at the time and the fact that videotape is not really a flattering medium, and you get that weird kind of grayish cadavery look to the faces.
You just created a new word that I like, cadavery.
Cadavery, yeah.
Oh, the cadavery of the thing. The cadavery of the whole situation.
Sounds
No,
like
you're
something
absolutely
Mr.
right. They
Howell would say on Gilligan's
Oh,
Island.
the cadavery, lovey. They should have recorded the whole commercial on a Betamax, and it would have come out so far superior.
Absolutely. Well, they were too busy recording football fumbles, apparently.
Apparently.
So let's now look at Mr. Mustard, or Mr. Mustache. And I don't know where to start with this guy's fashion sense. He's got that mustard-colored jacket, a canary yellow shirt, and a brown tie with his huge double Windsor knot.
That double Windsor knot is that's as big as the Sony Betamax they were demonstrating. That was so typical of the era, to mix tan with brown with yellow. It was sort of you can't really even call it an earth tone. It was like everything was the autumn. Everything was like fall leaves back then.
Absolutely. And he's got that face that's kind of halfway between Geraldo Rivera and Howard Hessman when he was doing the WKRP stuff.
I see what you mean by that. He's got the Geraldo Rivera sort of face with the mustache, but he's definitely got the Dr. Johnny Fever hair going on.
He does. And he does something in the film that's absolutely hilarious. It just seems so out of place, but that also seems so Johnny Feverish. And that is this wink.
What was that? Where did he pull that from?
Just like out of nowhere, he gives us, it's like, we need more cheese. You know, it's been cheesy so far, but let's bring on the Parmesan and just stop and wink at the camera.
Just the real old Limburger. Just stoke that fire. Stoke it up. Look at that. That is an unbelievable moment you captured.
Yes. And if anybody asks me now to sum up cheesy sales in the 1970s, I now have the still frame.
And if anyone wanted to ask me to sum up 1970s salespeople, we have this still to prove them right.
Absolutely. And one other small detail, I love the pocket on the suit that actually has the flap, and it's also got that gold button on it because we didn't have enough gold and yellow.
Don't know the purpose of the button, but it is what it is because it goes with everything else that was in that 1977 film.
I guess so. And we're going to finish off with this lovely image. Freeze frame.
The freeze frame that all 70s television shows ended with. You ever notice, you go back, you watch these old things on YouTube, and maybe you've got them on an old Betamax. I don't know where you'd find a player these days. The show would end, the movie would end, and bam, everybody just freeze frame, and then the credits would roll over top of that. And that's what we've done here.
Yes, and apparently it turned into a Sears catalog at the very end.
They did pose that out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And before we go from this shot, I want to also point out the ferns in the silver cans. Like, the silver cans were so mid-70s.
They look fantastic. Again, they didn't add any color. The only color is the Sony logo in the sign in the top right-hand corner. Everything else was just a giant drain on anything life-giving in every inch of that set.
Absolutely. And if you remember the 70s, maybe you had a suit like that, maybe even had a Betamax console, please let us know in the YouTube comments.
You know, we'd love it. We would love this. If you had a suit like that, we would love it if you would send us a photo of you in the suit, either from back then, or maybe if you wanted to try and goof around and send it. Let's have fun with this.
Exactly.
Because what we'll do on our website, which, Jason, you're going to tell us more about that coming up, but we will take those photos and we'll post them with the Cheezy Sales Cinema video of this 1977 piece, and we can show other people how much fun we're all having together. That builds a community. Exactly.
We want this to be interactive. And if you want to send us an email, you can do that. The email address is feedback@cheezysalescinema.com. Cheesy with a Y and a Z.
Cheesy with a Y.
And you can also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You'll want to do that because we've got a lot of great stuff coming up for you.
We really do. That's the best part of it. By subscribing, I mean, it's free and easy, but that will alert you as to when a new video has been loaded up and is ready to go. And we have some real beauts coming up, because the best part of these, the thing that makes it the most hilarious for all of us, is the fact that these are real. These have already had their time in history. We're simply bringing them back.
Exactly. So for the 70s, for Chris Mei, and for myself, Jason Reid, have a good one. We'll see you soon.